it seems like a lot of Carl Froch fans have inherited Froch's delusional attitude. A lot of the fans that he has are just as deluded as he is, if not more so. The response that I got from some of Carl Froch's fans on my last couple of videos on Froch, to me, was just comedy gold. The delusions that these people spin, these web of delusion that these people weave for themselves. Incredible. I just wanted to address the points in the video rather than going back and forth in the comment section endlessly, because when people don't want to hear sense, you be debating with them back and forth for hours and hours and hours responding to comments, and that's just long for me. I ain't got time for that shit. So let me just kill it all and put it all straight with a video. Now the first comment I have to make about is the Groves fight, where people are saying that Groves blew it and this, that and the other. Groves didn't blow nothing. The referee was the one who blew it, and he blew Carl Froch's dick. Right, that's what he did, because there's no way that fight should have been stopped. Now, we don't know what would have happened after the fight. We don't know what would have happened had the fight went on. Froch maybe would have finished Groves, or maybe Groves would have survived and gone on to win a decision, or gone on to stop Froch, because we'd seen that Groves certainly had the power to drop Froch and knock him out. So, we don't know what would have happened, but the fact is the fight should not have been stopped. It was a scandalous stoppage. And Carl Froch, yet again, gets a favorable decision from a referee. And this is nothing new in Carl Froch's career. He's had many favorable decisions from referees and judges throughout the entire course of his career. Right, this has been a reoccurring theme in Carl Froch's career. He was looked upon very favorably by the judges in the Andre Dirrell fight. And people talking about Dirrell fighting a negative fight and all this other crap. It's all irrelevant. The only thing that matters in boxing is who lands the most clean, effective punches. That's it. All the other criteria only comes into play if both guys are landing a similar amount of clean, effective punches. Right? If you've got two guys that are landing a similar amount of clean, effective punches, then very often the guy who is initiating the action and pressing the action will be the one who is awarded the round, because he's going that one step further. Yeah. So it's a way of splitting them in a close round. You say, okay, this guy was initiating the action, so I'll give him the round. But they both landed a similar amount of punches. But the Dirrell fight wasn't like that. Dirrell was the one who was landing by far the more clean, effective shots. Froch was, the aggressor, but it wasn't effective aggression for the most part. And that's why the vast majority of neutral fans thought that Froch got absolutely schooled in that fight and got a gift. Yeah, this is just a fact. This is not people that are biased. This is literally neutral people thought the shit was an absolute gift. And George Groves told him this to his face. And all of a sudden, Carl Froch wants to get angry and act like he was disrespected. But he's just saying what most neutrals saw. He's just telling the truth. It's so funny to me that these Froch fans get upset when Carl Froch is criticized, but yet Carl Froch has made an entire career out of bad-mouthing other fighters like Joe Calzaghe, various other fighters along the way, even guys who are beating him, like Andre Ward, gave no credit to Andre Dirrell, even though many neutral observers thought Dirrell beat him. So, Froch is a very, ingracious, individual, very arrogant, total lack of humility, but his fans are happy for him to criticize other fighters and be obnoxious and boastful and all this kind of stuff. But as soon as anyone else criticizes Froch, oh no, it's a problem. Now someone has criticized their darling, their poster boy. It's some corny shit, man, some gay shit, to be honest with you. Carl Froch is under fire right now. He's getting a lot of criticism, and he deserves it. He deserves the criticism he's getting right now. Yeah, he does deserve it. This guy's been dishing out the trash talk and bad-mouthing other fighters for a long, long time. Right? Fighters who have never said a bad word about him. For example, like Joe Calzaghe, who never said anything bad about Froch. But Froch was always, trying to downplay Calzaghe's achievements and all this kind of stuff. So what goes around comes around, and Froch is getting it back around right now. Yeah, he's getting the criticism, and he deserves it. Right, he's been a very arrogant man throughout his career, and he's been deluded throughout his career. All right, let's be real. This guy talks about the fact, well, this guy believes that he's the best British fighter of all time next to Lennox Lewis. I mean, how deluded can you be to actually believe that? And a lot of his delusional fans believe it as well. All right, this guy isn't even the best fighter in his own division. So you expect us to believe that you're the best fighter who ever came out of the country, and you're not even the best fighter in your own division. What an absolute joke. He might not even be the best fighter in the country right now at that particular weight, at super middleweight. All right, you got James DeGale out there. You got George Groves, who proved that he's more than a match for Carl Froch. You know, if we get the rematch on, we might find out who's the better man, because the fight was stopped prematurely the first time around. So, you know, this guy says he's the best British fighter of all time, like next to Lennox Lewis. I mean, this guy's totally deluded. And any one of his fans who actually believe this crap, I mean, you need to be sectioned, man. You need to be sectioned. You need to be put in a straitjacket, man. It's it's flipping ridiculous. So anyway, you go through, you look at Froch's career. All the facts that I mentioned in my previous videos are facts. They can't be disputed. You know, the vast majority of neutral fans thought he lost the Dirrell fight, but he got very favourable treatment from the judges and the referee in that fight. Even the Pascal fight was very close, right? If that fight had been in France, probably would have gone. If that fight had been in Canada, probably would have gone to Pascal, right? But because it was in the UK, and because he was in front of a pro-Froch crowd in the UK who cheered every time Froch even hit a shoulder or a glove, Froch got the decision. I'm not saying it was a robbery, but it was certainly a very close fight that could have gone either way. All right. So he got the favourable decision from the judges in the Pascal fight. He got a favourable decision from the judges in the Dirrell fight, and one of the most scandalous fights ever in terms of favourable decision from judges that Froch got was in the Andre Ward fight, because two of the judges in the Ward fight only had Ward winning by 2 rounds. I mean, that is one of the most scandalous things I've ever seen in boxing, because if they only had Ward winning by 2 rounds, that means they believe that Carl Froch won 5 rounds in the Ward fight. I would love anyone to show me which 5 rounds Carl Froch won against Andre Ward. I mean, absolute scandalous. All right. But it just, again, goes to show the favourable decisions that Carl Froch gets from judges. This guy has been protected by up on high by the Prince of Darkness, man. I swear down, Carl Froch. He's very favourable decisions from judges and referees. It's a long history throughout his career. All right. This guy don't get robbed on the cards. Yeah. Froch does not get robbed on the cards. He don't get referees that make his life hard. He always gets favourable treatment from referees and favourable treatment from judges, preferential in fact. All right. And even in that Ward fight, that was scandalous, because there's no way he won 5 rounds in the fight. Maximum you could give Carl Froch 2 rounds, maybe at the absolute stretch, 3 rounds in the Ward fight. But 5 rounds, what brand of crack are you smoking? Yeah. And I said this to this Froch fanatic who was trying to debate with me. I mean, it's pretty pitiful, the fact he was trying to debate with me, because the stuff I was saying was cast iron facts, and the stuff he was saying was, you know, wild, fanciful fantasies. But I was trying to show this guy, educate him on the fact that the person who's given Andre Ward his toughest fight to date is actually Sakio Bika, not Carl Froch. And the guy said, "Oh, what are you talking about? The cards were much wider for Bika against Ward than it was against Froch Ward." Well, we're not talking about the cards. We're not talking about corrupt judges. We're talking about going and watching the actual fights. Have you actually seen the Bika fight? I mean, this Froch fanatic, maybe he hasn't actually seen the Bika fight. Maybe he's that ignorant that he hasn't even gone and watched Ward against Bika. But anyone that's actually seen Ward Bika, forget about judges. Anyone that's actually seen Ward Bika will know for a fact that Sakio Bika gave Andre Ward a much tougher fight than Carl Froch did. Much tougher. Yeah, much more difficult night. The Carl Froch fight for Andre Ward was easy. It was a walk in the park. Yeah, it was a walk in the park, Star. Yeah. The Beaker fight was rough. Yeah, that was some rough fight for Andre Ward, and a lot of people felt the Beaker fight was a lot closer than the judges had it, and I can definitely see why. So, Carl Froch is on the same kind of level as Sakio Beaker. He's a little bit above Beaker, but not that much above him in terms of a fighter. Yeah, but because of his mouth and his constant, blabbing all over the place about his resume, who he's fought, because of all this mouth, sometimes in life, if you say something often enough with enough confidence to enough people, some people will start to believe it. And people really started to believe that Carl Froch really is this all-time great, one of the greatest, probably the greatest British fighter of all time. Absolute garbage when you actually look at what this guy's done and the reality of his performances in the ring. He's a good fighter, Carl Froch. I'm not trying to totally trash him and say he's garbage. He's a good fighter, but not an all-time great, not the best British fighter of all time, nowhere near. He's probably not even the best British super middleweight right now. So, we need to put things into perspective. So I'm not just trying to rubbish Carl Froch completely. I'm just trying to put his boasts and his, trash talk into context, with the reality of his performances. And the reality is Carl Froch is, maybe a shade above someone like Sakio Beaker. All right, he's not even the best guy in his own division. So these delusions of grandeur that Carl Froch has need to stop. Carl Froch has come out and said that, actually, let me cover that in the next video. I'm going to talk about Carl Froch and his recent, response to Adonis Stevenson, because he's now come out and said that I'll address it in another video. He's come out and addressed the fact that Stevenson has called him out. He's addressed the Groves rematch. So I'll cover that in the next video. But in this video, I just want to address those, those Froch fanatics who are having a hard time sleeping at night because the reality and the truth is tormenting them. And the truth is that Carl Froch was very lucky against George Groves to get such a favorable decision from a referee. But, he's got a history of it throughout his career of getting favorable decisions from refs and judges. And he got his get out of jail free card yet again. So, congratulations, Carl Froch, for having the right political connections in boxing to get that. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to leave a link on screen right now so you can watch part 2 of this video where I'm going to be addressing Carl Froch not taking the Groves rematch and responding to Adonis Stevenson's call out. So yeah, drop your comments below. This is Hatman. I'm out.